48 hours in the clutches of Zip Quill and his goonies.
Goonies?
I haven't felt like putting on perfume scents.
I don't blame you.
Honestly, it was not great. It was Jesse McKinley and a couple of the others. They ended up seeing me at a telegram station. He sent out a tip to a couple of his people, I guess, and then kept me in a conversation. But there was deputies around, so I went, I'm safe. Yes, this is just McKinley, but I'm safe. There are deputies, five or six deputies in Blackwater. Lo and behold, all the deputies disappear suddenly, even though at least one of them knew who I was. And the current situation might have been off duty, I'm not certain. And next thing I know, I'm getting told sorry, but money is money. And I get brought all the way up to Brandywine. They also took Digger at one point, senior deputy Digger. But yes, so then Zip takes me and he goes, do you have any preference of where we keep you? And I went someplace dry. So naturally, the fucker ties me to a tree outside.
What the fuck?
In the rain, I know. And I am there, but it was at, the camp at the railway? Near Emerald?
Yeah, I know the one.
Yes, it was there. And it was horrible because I was there for I was awake for a very long time, and there were just dozens upon dozens upon dozens upon dozens of hoofbeats that went by me, and I would scream and scream and scream, but I was just even though we were right next to the road, it was just a little bit too far. And they weren't really prepared for me, so he left me there all night by myself. There wasn't anybody guarding me. So I thought, if I cried loud enough, somebody would, stop. And for hours upon hours upon hours upon hours, hoofbeats, yelling, nothing. It's horrific. And it was raining and it was cold. And then the next day, they come and they pick me up. And I don't know if they had to, manage to arrange it ahead of time, but they lined the streets with the citizens of Van Horn. And they said, the day that you went into Van Horn, you wanted so badly to go down the main road to Ansburg, so we're going to let you walk down the main road. And we're going to make you walk all the way, you're going to walk all the way down the main road of Van Horn to Ansburg. And at this point, I'm terrified. I had a long conversation with Wallaby, in which, and I don't think this is a good thing, in which he said that he liked me. I think he recognized that I was just as manipulative as he is. But something I said must have worked, because obviously they only wanted to humiliate me and hurt me a little bit and not kill me. But so they walk me down a full Van Horn with everybody jeering. It was purposely for the express purposes of humiliation. The warm welcome into Van Horn. Oh, we're so honored to have you, Sheriff. Oh, welcome to Van Horn, Sheriff. Oh, we've all been waiting for your arrival. They say, why don't you come in and have a drink? And I come in, and it's awful. They're all surrounding me. It is horrible. And then I get pulled outside, and one of them gets his arm around my neck and leans in to whisper in my ear saying, "Aren't the people here so lovely? Look at them. Don't they look like hard-working people? Aren't they wonderful people?" And I said, "I see them. You know, I see them. Yes, they're wonderful people." And then there was just pain, and I get thrown into the mud. The freak beat a chunk out of my ear. At the end of it, Wallaby says, "Oh well, everybody should say goodbye to the sheriff," and everybody got their pound of flesh, I suppose. Each person there was able to get a hit in on me. A really nice goodbye, just a really great thing. And then Wallaby dragged me up to the railway behind his horse and told me to crawl to Ansberg, but I think he overestimated what I am capable of. Things that, you know, Mitch or Rabbit could endure aren't really things that I can endure. And I think he expected me to be able to get up and walk away, because he told me I was to walk all the way to Ansberg. But it hurt, and I think I got caught on one of the planks, and I was just out of it. I was trying to stay awake, I was trying to crawl, I was trying to get up, and I just couldn't. So it wasn't horrible. Zip at one point pulled the gun, and Wallaby told him not to, because he said that I was smart and that I could teach the others a lesson. It was just a lot of pain all at once, and I guess I am just not as resilient as the others, so pain it is. You know, I can push through, but it is a lot, and it was a lot all at once, and I just didn't have the strength to walk to Ansberg the way that he wanted. But, you know, it could have been much worse.
I think people look at situations like this and assume they're a certain way. I don't think people realize how traumatic it is to go through something like that. The pain, the stress, the bargaining beforehand, the trying to get the words just right to be able to survive, and how mentally draining it is on you. And then when you have to go through the things that are physical, I mean, mentally is a part of our body. I can only imagine how exhausted you had to be. And then to go through something like that too, it's awful. I'm sorry you had to go through it.
Yeah, I'm also sorry. I don't recall if y'all remember, but I got taken by the ABC, and I felt the same way when he was doing that stuff. So I don't think it makes you. Obviously, none of what happened to you was your fault, and you shouldn't feel like you have to compare what happened to you to any other situation, because at the end of the day, nobody knows what you went through exactly, and how the people that did what they did to you made you feel. And yeah, but I think I know I speak for all three of us when I say glad that you're okay and back. Truly.
You're stuck with us. You ain't going nowhere. And I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure if you had died, I think Fletcher would have done some kind of like blood magic and resurrected you.
Oh, is it a skill that I didn't know he had?
Yeah,
Been working on it.
yeah. what's it called? Necromancy?
It'd be called hemomancy at that point if you're referring to blood magic.
What magic? Oh boy.
You're the strongest person I know.
Yeah, I can confidently say that's my sheriff. And yeah, I agree with Fletcher.
Yes, I do think the most difficult part is the mental, and I think you're right. When I got back to Saint Denis after everything and my head started to clear from the pain, they gave me a little bit of pain relief. William can tell you, it was like I just wanted to tear apart my identity and rebuild it. I felt wretched. I felt horrible. I hated my hair, my clothes, my skin. Everything just felt wrong. My life felt wrong. I didn't want to live in Saint Denis anymore. I just wanted, it was like I was cornered and I wanted to escape. And, you know, even just being in a crowded room, it is almost like I am surrounded by jeering faces, even if they are my friends. If somebody comes up behind me, I feel trapped. There are a lot of things that I can't handle anymore that I was able to before, and maybe it's just time that it'll take to go back to normal, or maybe there isn't normal, but there are a lot of things right now that I hate, that I shouldn't hate. But it is like... But it is like I still feel tied to the tree, and I desperately want to cut away anything that feels like it is even a little bit restrictive. So I appreciate you all, listening, and I didn't mean to ramble or go on about it.
No.
Right?
Oh my
you're-
god.
Yeah,
Don't even-
you're fine.
Yeah.
Listen, if anything, it's nice to talk about. Not that I wanted you to ever go through it, but it's nice to know someone that understands, I guess.
Yeah, I can kind of confirm I feel the same way. I think that if I ever had another situation like that happen to me, that I would want to come to you guys to talk about it, right? Like, not in official capacity, right? Because, I mean, all of us here work for the government in some fashion. We have to talk about those hard things in that official capacity, but that kind of leaves out talking about how it actually makes us feel, which I think is important to do.
But you know what? Even though I had that experience, and even though Wallaby looked at me and said, you're smart, you can go back and tell them the smartest way deputies aren't to come into Van Horn, I'm really glad that I wasn't put into a position where I had to say, yes, I've been told I shouldn't do this, and I'm going to do it again anyways, because it is my job, regardless of the consequences. Because Mitch, Sand, he's so brave. He's so brave, and he said enough is enough. And he did it for me. So it took a lot of pressure, because I don't have to pass along that message. Or say, this is the message that they meant to give me and we shouldn't listen to it. It's not my call to make anymore. So at least the path ahead is okay. And I have incredible people like you, for the longest time I didn't have any friends.